Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comics News Today. We got some interesting topics to cover, but first we're going to get into our commercial advertising here for Fanspeak, if you want to call it that. We got some updates for you. Of course, we want to mention the art contest that we have going on. The art contest is running until October 30th, so you want to get your submissions in for that. And what we're doing is we're taking a full page ad in an alternate comic, and we're going to have this contest. You're going to be making a Fanspeak logo and a mascot, and those will be in that full page ad in the comic. So the winners will actually have their art in a comic book, which we think is really, really cool. And that is running until October 30th. And then on the 31st, we're going to have a special Halloween show here. We hope a lot of you show up for that. And on that Halloween show, we're going to do a straw poll to choose the winners of the Fanspeak logo and the mascot. And we're also, of course, going to be doing the Comics Titan fundraiser raffle on that day. Now, that is going on over on with Pope Fire and Eric Ninotowski, the protege of Mike S. Miller. And what you're doing there is you're buying a raffle ticket for $3. You get one ticket, and for two tickets, you can get paid for $5. And there's a lot of cool prizes they got already. They got a lot of comics. They got some original, or I mean, excuse me, some first appearance comics. They have some statues. They even have some game products. So this is gonna be a lot of fun, and you get a chance to win stuff, and you're helping people. So the purpose of the Comics Titan fundraiser is to raise money for people in the community who can't afford some of these Indiegogo comics that are going on during this Renaissance period. So it's to help them out and to get and spread the comics around. They've already started doing that actually. The monies they've already raised, they're putting directly into use. So it's a really cool idea. It's a lot of fun, and it's going to be part of our Halloween show, which I'm really looking forward to. Also, keep in mind that please submit your reviews for comic books or any news you see into the Fanspeak Facebook group, which you can see the link right down below. And you go ahead and send those things over. We're already getting some, and we've collected a few we're going to use on this week's Fanspeak. And this week's Fanspeak is on Saturday. It's usually on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But this week it's going to be on Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have a great guest this week, by the way, guys. We have Mike Baron. Yes, Marvel, DC, Dark Horse. I think he might have even done some Malibu as well. But of course, I really enjoyed his Badger. He did Nexus and other things. So we're really looking forward to talking to a writer this time. We've had a couple of great artists with Gary Shipment and Art T. Bear. But this time we're going to be talking to a writer, and it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And the other thing to remind you is we are doing podcasts now. We're doing them slowly, but we're going to put more and more of those out. And we're doing those on Anchor. And of course, we use Anchor because Anchor actually spreads out to all the other podcasts. So if you listen to podcasts, you actually can find it available. And then you find that under Fanspeak, or you find it under Chester Busby. Also, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so that you'll be able to get notifications of when we're on. All right. Well, there is all our updates for the Fanspeak page over here and all of our contributors. So let's talk to some of our contributors who got over there. How you doing today, guys?
Good.
Yeah, excellent. So today, of course, my name is Chester C. Busby III, and we have our friend from down in Australia. How you doing today, Beowulf?
Yeah, good. It's a beautiful day down here, so can't complain.
Yeah, nice, man. And of course, we have the chairman of the board, Mr. DeWolf.
Yes, yes. Hello. Welcome to the Fanspeak News, everyone.
Yes, and we have our intrepid reporter who is invaluable, Denali.
Hey guys, aloha. Let's jump into the news today.
All right, guys. Oh, I see a few of you coming over there. Thank you for joining us. And we are gonna jump right into the news, and we have something really interesting to talk about. I tell you, we can't go a day, guys, without having some interesting news that's happening on one side or the other. So let's go ahead and take a look at this bit. So go ahead and Denali, why don't you introduce this? And I know that Mr. DeWolf has quite a few opinions on it as well.
All right. So it appears today, no, that doesn't appear, it is a fact that the campaign by Arkhaven's comic, which is a imprint of Vox Days Publishing's, Alt Hero Q has been closed and terminated. So all the backers that backed for this project had receive a notice of refund, and that the reason this campaign was closed was due to violation of their terms of service. And that was judged by their trust and safety committee. So apparently they violated some kind of user term agreement when they launched this campaign. So they had to terminate it. That's basically what we have.
Okay. And I think Mr. DeWolf has some speculation on why that might have happened.
Yeah, well, one of these terms of use includes that you have copyright information saying that you have all the rights to the product being put out. And in that also no other third party is either involved, and the rights to that third party aren't infringed, and that Indiegogo will not have to be involving in any disputes or putting out or giving a monies out to a third party, etc. and etc. Well, interestingly enough, when you continue going down at this Indiegogo page, if you have that possibility, there is a $65,000 stretch goal variant cover for a paperback that I believe is maybe part of a copyright infringement. Not that this is actually a political jab or an agenda by Indiegogo. So it may have been a different type of infringement than what is also being portrayed out there in the other sources that we have found out about today.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people calling this a political action. That's true. So, yeah. Mr. Beowulf, you want to give an opposing view to that?
Yeah, well, we don't know for sure that this is the reason that they're dropping this, but it is good speculation. I know it's got a couple of people in Comicsgate a little worried. Vox Day, of course, is not a member of Comicsgate. We've renounced him. We don't want anything to do with him. But it is newsworthy because it gives us that question of where does it leave some of our other campaigns. But at this point, I don't think there's any reason for any of us to worry. Indiegogo has shown themselves to be supporters of Comicsgate in as far as they do actually advertise campaigns on Twitter. So
they do.
Yeah, for the time being, I think we're okay. If we learn anything more about this, we will let everybody know, of course. So.
Yeah. And then I'll just add what the terms of service says for the specific section that we investigated and led to our investigation. You represent and warned that 1, you have all licenses, right, consents, permission necessary to grant rights set forth in these terms to Indiegogo with respect to your user contact. 2, your user contact does not and will not infringe on any third-party intellectual property rights, proprietary rights, or privacy, confidential rights, or otherwise violates these terms or applicable laws. So that's what we're going for. I don't know if that's the main reason for it, but that's our speculation on that part.
Well, it's certainly going to play out over the next few days, I am sure, because Vox and all of his cronies are not going to let that lie. So I imagine we're going to see a lot of information come out about this. The only thing I would interject into the story is it's interesting, but I actually am coming over. Of course, I've been reading comics my whole life, but I'm coming over from the board gaming world, and I've been doing Kickstarter for I don't know, a decade or whenever it started. Because actually, even though if you go to Kickstarter and you look at all the advertisement, they never talk about board games and stuff. It's actually board games that makes all their money. But anyway, we've been doing board games over there for years and years, and I've been involved in over 100 Kickstarter projects. And one thing we always thought over there is 2 things. One, we noticed as every year went by, Kickstarter was getting more and more progressive, more and more identity politics. And of course, we know today that Kickstarter is just crazy level SJW now. And if they hired a lady when the Indiegogo started becoming successful over here, and they hired a lady who is exactly the perfect image of an SJW. She hates everything that we love, and I think they put her in place to tell all of us over here, hey, don't even think about it. We don't want anything to do with you. All right, so that's Kickstarter. That's where it's gone. That's where it is. But an interesting little thing during that time, we always thought Indiegogo was the liberal place. So how times change, huh?
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Back and
anyway,
forth.
back and forth, man. The flow of things, I guess. But all right, that's interesting. We'll keep an eye on this, guys, and we'll talk about it more because I'm sure there's going to be more to talk about. Let's move on to the next little very interesting thing. Denali, why don't you go ahead and tell us what is this that we're looking at on the page, man? What is this?
So apparently, late last night, Mark Pellegrini posted on his Twitter this list of industry insiders that that listed a list of all the known comic skaters.
Oh, so this is a list of professional comic skaters. That's what this is. Okay.
Yeah. So you have Chuck Dixon very on the top, the number one. After that, Evan. You have EVS, Mitch Breitweiser. We don't include Voxday as a comic skater, but for the left and for those people who are against comic skate, we are in the same thing.
Yeah. No, I think it's an interesting list. What do you think, Grant? What are some interesting names that pop out to you here, man? Who exactly is Spike Valentine? But Tim Lim. What do you think, man? There's Nasser. Is he actually? He's just brand new. What do you think, Grant? Man, I know you must have some opinions on some of this stuff.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that they mention people like Vox Day and stuff who we don't even include. And they've got Pete. Pete's up there, and he's not exactly a member of Comicsgate.
Not at all, man.
Yeah, there's a couple of names I don't recognize. You mentioned, Denali, that Mark Pellegrini posted it. Do we know who compiled the list?
No, it's just something that he picked up that he was able to get. I guess somebody just sent him that about what's being passed around to the industry insiders.
I see. So it's now it's interesting. There's a bunch of people in our community, of course. We are comics again, I guess. But one I think there's a couple on here that are hilarious. Jake Campbell. Jake? He's like the sweetest guy. I mean, Jake, he does those ASMR type of things to help people sleep. And he was just on the Drawn Recorded Fan Edition yesterday, which was great fun, by the way. But yeah, look at some of these other names, guys. It's funny. John Malin, of course, John's on there. Donald DeLay, of course. Look at this. You have an opinion on this, DeWolf?
I most certainly do, and I was just waiting to jump right in there. Here's the reason why you're seeing some names that you don't agree with, because this is a list that came from them. You got to remember that Comicsgate is not something that we identify as, right? We've taken it as a badge of honor, or I should say, the professional creators have taken it upon themselves as a badge of honor, because you're going to call us this, fine, whatever. We're going to make it into something good. Well, you got to remember, Comicsgate was something that was supposed to be a scandal, supposed to be something that was bad. And we're going to point the finger and we're going to blame you for bad things. And we're going to call you out. And now we're going to compile a list. And the problem, I think, with this is, this goes back to, let's just call it what it is, a blacklist, right? This why would you have a list like this? This says don't touch these people, don't talk to these people, aggravate these people, be violent to them, be whatever you want to do, target these people for whatever it is. And they don't like these people. So this is the list that they don't like. It's not the list that we actually agree with. That's why it's time to just, in my opinion, I'm going to keep saying it. Just drop Comicsgate. And any time they say and point the finger at Comicsgate, you just say who, what, I don't know what you're talking about. And just let it go, because, we are Comicsgate. We do support it. We support those creators that call them that. But for the most part, we're something new and different and vibrant, and we're not a scandal. We are a resurgence. So you said renaissance. I say revival.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I see from the UK, Jeremy Clark, Top Gun. So Top Gun. So we got a Top Gun announcer as Comicsgate. That's awesome.
Yeah. I want them to have to start coming up with a comics revival list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Correction.
go.
Top Gear.
Well,
Top Gear.
I thought it was interesting. They got Kane and White on here, but they don't have Antonio. It's weird. And they don't like Antonio. They were just we were talking about the news the other day where they were attacking Antonio's cover and calling it violence against females, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
They don't
But it's
have
interesting. Look who's at the top of the list, though.
Chuck Dixon.
Yeah, poor
They'll,
Chuck.
they'll,
man.
they'll keep adding to the list because they got more people to hate.
Yeah.
Because and to apply their bigotry to.
Well, you better watch out. One day, I think you might be on a list. Wolf. I think it's coming.
I can't wait. Honestly,
What
Okay.
I think is funny is if anything, this is promoting us further. You know, it's like, look at this
It
great
is.
list of growing talent every day. More and more people are joining us. It's like, you idiots, you don't even know what you're doing.
right? It's
No,
sad. It really is.
Yeah.
It is. Let me
Yeah.
jump over here to the chat real quick and just cover a couple of things that are being said over here, and we'll jump back into the news, guys. Now the DJD show has got a few comments here, and one of the things he says is Ernst is a reporter. I gather he is too friendly to Comicsgate. Now, actually, Doug Ernst, along with Timothy Lim and Captain Cummings and Edwin as well, those guys have been doing this for a couple of years, guys. We're new. We're all of us, Ethan included, Mike. We're now they've been dealing with it in their lives, but as far as being out here on the internet fighting it day to day, those guys have been in it for a long time. Doug Ernst most certainly has been in it for a long time. So, which I think is what caused a little bit of that angst there at the beginning. But yeah, no, Doug Ernst is absolutely part of Comicsgate. In a way, he's part of the inception, I'd say. Phase one, as you say, DeWolf.
What's this?
You called it like phase one of Comicsgate was people like Doug Ernst and Captain Cummings and stuff
Yes,
like
I
that.
did.
I think.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
so
The reviewers. Yeah, I think the reviewers are in there, in phase one, I believe they gave the gumption for phase two to actually start with the creators doing what they're doing, and now we're phase three.
that's right, absolutely. And Doug Ernst was certainly part of that. All right, well, unless you guys, this is just a little thing to look at. Unless there's something else you want to talk about, let's go on the next story. Okay.
No, that's good for now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
All
good
right.
for now.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sure the
this
list will
list-
grow.
It will, I'm sure. All right, now this over here I thought was interesting. Is Bounding into Comics Again. It's a great site. If you haven't been there, go check it out. But as Denali says, and as Denali does, you should go check out all the other ones too. Matter of fact, before we get into this, Denali, why don't you real quick tell us some of the website resources that you go and collect information from, please.
So I go with Bounty into Comics. I go to Bleeding Fool, and then I go through all the main comic websites because the smaller one just repeats from the main one. So I go to CBR, I go to Bleeding Fool, I go to Superhero Hype, I go to Newsarama, and then I try to go with international news like yesterday's with Global
The
News.
global news, yeah, the global
Yeah.
TV network of Canada, yeah.
Sometimes I check the Sun, the Guardian, the Daily, if see if there's anything there, and I look at all over the world and see where we are. Sometimes there's news that interests me, and there's sometimes news that might be impaired, so I'll just stick it in as well.
Yeah, no, and thank you very much for all your hard work, Denali, man. It's really great. Not just here on this daily news show we do, guys, but if you go to the FanSpeak Facebook group, which the link is down below, Denali is posting news every day, all the time. You want to find a stream of news, go right over there, and you're going to find it. And we really appreciate what you're doing, man. I would also suggest the Mary Sue, if your eyes can take it. That's a very painful sight. But this one right here, this little article, I think is kind of interesting, and I want to talk about it a little bit, get you guys' opinions on it. Maybe there in the chat, you guys can give us an opinion as well. I think this is an interesting thing because, and it ties in a little bit to the first thing when we were talking about over here with Alt Hero Q, is that Twitter suspends Elite Dangerous player over poem. Now, I'm just going to read this little poem right here, and you'll see what happens. Elite Dangerous says, this is from Elite Dangerous itself. It says, there once was a pilot from Labe who wasn't particularly brave. He encountered a Theragoid who he tried to avoid, but now he's 1 foot in the grave. Okay, it's a little limerick type of poem, right? And then here's the guy who was affected. His name is Tim Wellens, and he said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. Thorogoid or foe, I will come to kill you." That's cute. It's following the standard little poem thing we all learned as a kid. And he got banned. And he got banned because he used the word kill you. And the point of this article, really, and we can go through and read some of the tweets if you guys would like, but the whole point of this article is talking about the fact that an AI saw this, picked it out, banned him. And he had to go through a process, which he eventually got back on. But the idea that AI are just picking out these words and banning people without any kind of subjectivity, and the reason I say it might apply to the Alt Hero Q was that something that was done completely internally by Indiegogo, or was that picked up by an AI and therefore they ran with it? I don't know. I'm speculating. But anyway, guys, why don't you go ahead and give us some information, ideas on what do you think about this, Denali? This is certainly a story you dropped, so why don't you go ahead and start?
So basically, this was, like you mentioned, an AI bot. Even the appeals that the gentleman sent it was, the poem was about the AI enemy character that they would fight in this video game, computer game, and they didn't. It fell on deaf ears. So basically, he had to get his friends to kind of tweet at the support to get human interaction to look into it and see that. So there's a lot of filters, and it goes again with the Battlefront shenanigan controversy for with their latest Battlefront games, where in beta you can't say they filter some of the things out, like DLCs, but you can say free DLCs. You can't say Nazi in a game during the war era of Nazi, some kind of things that it's kind of crazy. So, and we kind of see it the same thing with some of the filters that these AIs don't really get the context of it, and the more that people get dependent on these AIs for things, the more people are going to be affected. Because those AIs are not don't have that subtleties and context to differentiate. Oh, is he actually being threatening, or is it actually being that? There's so much you can do with scripts.
It's not a human. It's not a human, right? And just as a little side note to this, to kind of add on to it, is I watch the Angry Joe show and talking about video games and stuff like that. He's fun. I enjoy Angry Joe, and he actually was doing the new Battlefront, or Battlefield. I think it's Battlefield, and which is getting a lot of controversy, right? For all the same SJW reasons that everything else is controversial. But he was playing the game and checking out, and of course he was very frustrated with it because we were talking about this just the other day. They put out a bunch of these video games these days that are incomplete, and they want you to pay for it. But anyway, that's a separate conversation. But what he did was they were just typing in the chat, and what he found was if you type in black man, no problem. Asian man, no problem. You type in white man, it blocked it and wouldn't let you type it. It wouldn't let you send it. That's the kind of thinking that's going on with these people, and that's the kind of things they're doing with this AI. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. But then again, everything we talk about is stupid. I mean, all this nonsense. I mean, come on, DeWolf, you must have some opinion on this.
Yeah, it really just comes down to what's happening in the world in general, and this is going to happen. AI is going to be out there, and it actually, I think there's a good thing involved when you try to put certain protections in there to stop things like the word kill. White man is a bit extreme, and you're right when it comes down to politics. That's wrong. When it comes down to certain threats and large things, like, for instance, we do not put up with swearing and foul language because of certain cultural norms and common decency. And so those things, and having an AI come out and govern that is there, which just means that every person has to, like I use the word common decency, remember that, use some decency and respect to people and to society at large, and move forward, as long as we don't have these great leftist agendas that are trying to control cultures and governments.
Yeah, yeah. You got any opinion on this, Beowulf?
Yeah, well, this is just the perfect example of what happens when you start trying to police thought and police words and stuff like that. You know, today one word's okay, tomorrow it's offensive, and it gets added to this ever-growing list of words that AI filter out, and people start getting picked off for stupid things like writing a poem about a computer game character. But and also, yeah, Skynet. This is leading to Skynet. So
Yeah, in a way, it's a more realistic version of Skynet, and of course, as we know, that expression that reality is stranger than fiction is very true. Now, there is over here in chat before we go to our last story of the day. We do have some things over here, and I want to take a look at them. And now, Adrian Tepes says, "Just got here, Chester. Did you talk about what happened to Chuck Dixon? I'm assuming you're talking about the list. If it's something else, please just let us know. Unless Denali, you know something we don't know."
He's talking about if we talked about what happened to All Hero
Oh,
and
right.
and the
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's right. Because Chuck is on that. That's right. But then it's sad. I feel real bad for Chuck because I mean, that's an actual legend in our community, right? And in comic, not our community, comic books. I mean, Chuck Dixon's a great writer, and he, Bane and all those other things he's done. I mean, he's a known guy, and he's a pretty nice guy too. We've all seen him chatting with Ethan and some of the other stuff, and he's it's just so horrible to see all this stuff happen to him. And he's just trying to get work. He's just trying to keep working and do his stuff. And, Vox Day is offering money. So, I mean, he's just working
yeah.
and it's unfortunate.
Remember to support Ravage Kill All Man because that's a Chuck Dixon book, and he's a co-owner of Cautionary Comics. So any money going to that is money going to Chuck Dixon. So support that, and Ben Hennessy. So there you go.
Right. And the comments over here in the chat are very standard, censorship and those kind of things. And of course, you're all right. Do you think this sets a precedent to go after Comicsgate books also? Well, I mean, they right now I would suggest, and I think Denali has suggested it as well, that Indiegogo is making quite a bit of money off us right now. So I don't think they're going to be messing with us at all. But you know, who knows what the future holds? I'm sure Indiegogo has people in their office who would like nothing more than to destroy anything that we would want to be involved with. But from what I've seen, Indiegogo is really happy about the money they're making. Have you seen anything to the alternate guys?
nah.
Not at all.
I will stress again.
Following this story.
I will stress again. Yeah, we do not know at this time the exact reason why they pulled it. It could be a copyright thing. We don't know. We're speculating that. We do not at this point have any reason to believe that it is an attack against Comicsgate or Comicsgate loosely associated people. If there is a silver lining, though, we might see Chuck Dixon move further away from Vox Day and start producing even more great content for Comicsgate. So that's a bit of a silver lining, hopefully.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of artists over here that would love to work with Chuck Dixon. I guarantee it. So we'd love to see him do more stuff over here and create non-political, fun, standard comic books. That's what we do over here, right? That's what we're doing. We're not making political comic books like Voxes, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we're going to continue watching the stories. And so any updates, if there's a reason or if there's a statement that comes from Indiegogo about this, we'll definitely let you guys know the first thing, when we get on.
Absolutely. And like I said, and I think we've all said, Indiegogo has been really good to us so far. And I don't see it changing, but who knows? But they've been really good, I think. Very helpful. But anyway, let's do our last story of the day, guys. And this is an interesting one because, look who's in the news again. Marvel artist Bill Sienkiewicz lies about creating most punchable faces of 2017. Now, I remember that whole controversy came up about him putting bullseyes on political figures and stuff. You guys remember that?
No, I don't. I haven't seen this either.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember.
Yeah, I remember. Pepperidge Farms remembers. But no, I remember very clearly. It was a big old mess and noise, and of course he's just a typical, identity politics guy just doing his thing, hating on Trump, hating on everything that's conservative. It's very typical. It's nothing new to see here. But this is kind of interesting that he's popped back up in the news here because it says here that Marvel and DC Comics Bill Sienkiewicz is now lying about his most punchable faces on 2017 artwork, which is strange because it kind of gave him some notoriety. This is the campaign where Sienkiewicz advocated for violence against people like Harvey Weinstein and Matt Lauer, as well as people Sienkiewicz deems enemies, like members of Trump's organization, including Stephen Miller and Sarah. I remember the Sarah Huckabee Sanders one very clearly. We'd also target Sean Hannity, Donald Trump Jr., and Eric Trump as well. And it was more than that. He was attacking everyone. What he did was he created these little weird, warped, artistic interpretations of the person's face, and then you put a bullseye around it, meaning take them out, right? And he says it all started when Sienkiewicz declared, "It sucks when you have to completely block and disassociate with an entire branch of family members." He would go on lengthy rant where he admitted he lives in a bubble. If that puts me in a bubble, so be it. And I'm in a big bubble with others who believe in reasons, evidence, and truth. Now, I'm going to let you guys talk about this and get in, but my point I want to make right here, I want to isolate on this paragraph. He has had to block and disassociate with an entire branch of family members. How many times have we heard this with these SJWs? They completely shut their family or betray their family or, in essence, throw their family to the dogs. Their family. This is family. What is wrong with you, men?
Well, it's the same thing. You're inside a group of circles and you believe that perception to the point when you think your family would be doing the same thing. And when you find out your family, no, I voted for so-and-so, it's a cognitive dissonance between what you believe and what the world really is, that people are individual with their own intelligence, their own feeling, their own faith, belief, their own choices.
Yeah.
And sometimes they see the world differently from what you see it as, and they make a different choice.
Yeah, but that shouldn't have nothing to do with anything. It's
Exactly.
family. You have good days, you have bad days, but it's family. You don't betray and disassociate your entire branch of your family. It's nonsense. And a lot of these people talk about doing that. Gabby Rivera, for instance, would talk about how she hated going to family meetings because they all deserve a good lecture, a good yelling at. It's like, this is your family. What's wrong with you? Right? Find a way to work it out. It's your family. No one will love you more than your family. No one. Because they know you, right?
I wish it was true. I wish it was true, but I've been in the field where I had to deal with families, and unfortunately, that you come out disappointed because you see a lot of it.
Oh yeah. But that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about family members that have different political ideology from him, and therefore he must disassociate with them. I'm not talking about troubled families, alcoholism, or any of those other things that can happen. I'm talking about this, and it's pretty nonsense. Now, we're going to get in here and look at some of these tweets if you'd like, and talk about them. But if you notice, there's this guy here they're talking to. His name is Benjamin Kissel, and just the first tweet says, talk about fake news. You are not only 100% wrong, you are actively lying to try and make some point and failing to do so, either truthfully or coherently on all counts. You child. Oh, that's really nice. And who's he? Oh, John Malin. Hi, John. Everyone wave at John. Okay. And he says,
yeah.
Bill is a villain because he draws real life people's heads in bullseyes when he disagrees with them. Yeah, I guess that is kind of villainish, I guess, or it's just kind of, anarchy. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys give your opinions on this, or you can read some tweets and stuff if you like. But I thought it was interesting. This guy right here, this Benjamin Kissel. Now let's take a look over here. We got Benjamin Kissel. He's got a purple unicorn, and he's got a rainbow flag. And he says, I adore your art as a kid in the 80s. I've loved your work as an adult, and both of these are eclipsed by your thoughtfulness. Your eloquence here is truly sublime. Thank you. Let's go take a look at Benjamin. Want to see Benjamin? Everybody, guys, you want to see Benjamin? I want to see Benjamin. I know DeWolf wants to see Benjamin, but he had to head out. So take care of yourself there, DeWolf. And of course, Beowulf is really excited to see Benjamin, aren't you, Beowulf? Are you ready?
Sure, why not?
I'm just hoping you're all ready because I'm about to show you Benjamin. Boom,
Better not be
Benjamin.
wrong.
There he is. There's our boy. How you doing,
Wow.
Benjamin? He's got he's perfect, man. He's got the soy grin. Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm sorry. The big giant it just got me.
But it never fails,
I
man.
thought Halloween came early today.
They always look like that, don't they? It's hilarious. I'm not following him, by the way. I don't care how much you pay me. I'm not hitting that button. But oh, look, he likes She-Ra. Oh, he's a She-Ra. I wonder if he likes the new She-Ra best because it's diverse, you know. Oh my goodness! Oh, what is that? What is that? There's something wrong there. Don't do that. Okay, well, we're going to leave Benjamin alone here, but I just thought you guys would all enjoy that. Anyway, Denali, go ahead and get into this a little bit more, and I'm sure Beowulf will have some opinions as well.
All right. So it's kind of funny by his word what Bill says. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Of course, we're all in this together. If there appears to be tribal division, and there is, so it doesn't appear if you're admitting there is tribal division. It's not for the lack of trying on the part of those of us who want unification and a healthy, positive future for all. Yet we're seen as divisive and unrealistic. But because you label us and you sow those seeds without empathizing, having you heard, walking on another person's shoes and getting their point of views, you kind of shut down because it's not agreeing. We're not agreeing with you, and you're not willing to look into what we're looking at. You're assuming that we are totally against you. In the article that you point out is, it's mentioning, that Mailing forgot to say some other things. But the point is like, the reason there's divisiveness is because you're not willing to have that conversation respectfully. Yes, there are going to be those trolls in the internet because you know what, they were born and the internet enables them. But to give a majority of consumers who purchase your works, valid criticism, about what your body of work is, and not having a conversation to see their point of view and say, okay, I see that I didn't see your execution of what I was trying to do, and see how I could do it better, and just shut off. You're not going to have that conversation. You're just going to block off people and have people walk away, which is what's currently happening right now. People are walking away from DC and Marvel in the comics, and DC and Marvel in the comic industry should have woken up when the bubble burst and should have said, what happened? Why were we selling 7 million copies in the early 90s, and by the late 90s, early 2000, we're only selling if not at least 100,000 copies. And now, looking at IndieCron, the highest selling is just from the big two. Everybody else that are selling comics are within 20,000 to 4,000 copies.
And a lot of their comics are under 10 grand, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's comparable to what Comicsgates are doing. So it's kind of interesting in a sad way.
It is. And I'm sorry, I don't mean 10 grand. I meant 10,000 issues, copies. Sorry. But I want to that's very true, Denali, but I want to do a little experiment here with Beowulf. You want to help me out, Beowulf?
Sure.
Well, we got Benjamin here, and Benjamin gives a response to John Malin, and Benjamin's being sassy. I mean, he's really being sassy here. You see how sweet and lovely he was. He even used the words. He even uses the word perfidy in here. Oh, he's very educated. But he's being super sassy. So Beowulf, but I would really love you to read Benjamin Kissel's tweet in the most super sassy Benjamin you can do.
All right, I'm not sure I can do this, but my pleasure. Exactly. We're fighting and speaking up for inclusiveness, yet because we call out the perfidy and closed-mindedness of folks, we're the villains.
Okay, it was all right. It was all right. Let me show you Benjamin's picture again. All right, so this is Benjamin. I think Benjamin's a little more sassy than that. But anyway, thank you very much,
Sorry,
sir.
Beowulf is too manly to get
He
to that
is.
point.
That's why I asked him. It's hilarious, man. Here you go. Here's one of the pictures that they're talking about. Yeah. But I mean, this article just gone. It's the same kind of nonsense, guys. There's nothing really that interesting here, other than the SJW types. They always lie. They always are constantly coming back. You say one thing, they'll come back at you, accuse them, prove they're guilty. They'll come back again and again and again and again. They don't care. They don't care what the truth is. All they care is the end result, and that's what it really comes down to. But I just thought, for me, it's a pretty standard thing we see from SJWs all the time. But I just thought the Benjamin thing was cute. But you guys got any comments on this, Beowulf? Just as far as the generality of attacking and then saying, "Oh, I didn't do that," or distancing themselves from their own attacks and then attacking again. Or do you have any comments at all?
I suppose my comment goes to that, the whole splitting off from family and stuff. This is what happens when you dehumanize and demonize and vilify anyone who has a differing opinion from you, and you stop seeing people as human beings, members of your family who disagree with you, and they become this monster, this dark force that you must oppose at all. Whatever it takes, you must get rid of them. And then the breakdown in people's ability to communicate and talk to one another, disagree. This is what SJWs bring to the table, and it even folds back into what we were talking about earlier with the AI and stuff, having to censor everything because everyone's offended by everything, and because people can't censor themselves and learn how to have civil conversations. We have robots trying to do it for us, and there's this entire breakdown. We have industries alienating their fans, disagreements in politics. It's all ludicrous and ridiculous. That's my rant.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%.
And I mean, they're even attacking pronouns where you see in Twitters identify as he or she, or he and him, she or her, it or it's or or whatever. So, they're even attacking pronouns, the way that, how you address a person is being offensive now. Oh, you did not call me by the preferred pronoun. Well, I never met you. So it's just giving an excuse just to be offended just because. And it gets tiring. So no, it's really attack of language, and a way to defeat them is by culturally and by economics, and that's what's being seen. You don't win people by wars, but through culture and economics, and that's how you truly defeat a country or a group of nations or whatever.
Yep. And we have raised over $2 million over here on this in this Indiegogo renaissance that's going on, or revival, as DeWolf likes to call it. Yeah, we're speaking with our pocketbooks, and that's all good. Now, I know over here in the chat before, we're going to have to finish up here, guys. And but I want to look at the chat real quick, and I see that Booster has joined us. Hello, Booster, and he has a complaint for you. Beowulf, directly at you. He says, I see you've just went and replaced me with another accented guy in the oceanic region. I see how it is. Okay.
Yeah, like I said to him, they've traded up.
Yeah,
they can afford the real thing now. They don't need the knockoff, the cheap knockoff.
Oh, cool. All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun. Interesting news stuff. We're gonna have to finish up today, and just remember, support us. We thank you very much for you guys being here and joining us every day. We thank you guys all for becoming subscribers of the channel. We thank you for going over to the Fanspeak Facebook page and being involved and putting your reviews, putting your art, putting your opinions, and just join the conversation. We thank you for everything that you do to help us. And of course, from our point of view, you are part of the community. And if you want to get on here and speak with us, just go on to Fanspeak and say so. You can also go to my Facebook page directly at Chester C. Busby III. It's the one with the Black Adam icon. And just go ahead and click in there and tell me, put me on the show. We want you to get in here. We want to hear your voices. We want to talk to you directly. We sit and chat here in the on the keyboards all the time, and it's fun. But it's a lot more fun just to sit here and talk together. So, thank you all for doing that, and please, get involved. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Also, keep in mind of all the little things we got going on with the art contest and the Comics Titan fundraiser and such, and also that this week's Fanspeak will be on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will have our guest Mike Barron, which we are very excited about. So, you guys got anything to say before we get off of here?
Just thanks for coming, and connect with us on the Fanspeak Facebook page. We really want to engage with you more, like Chester was saying. And yeah, if you want to follow me directly on Twitter, it's at Beowulf Reborn. I usually follow back, and I'd love to chat with you more there. So thanks again.
Everything's a perception of your reality, and you shape that reality. So always make it a good one. Be the positive force of change. And we are changing things. We are causing ripples. We would not have all this, list. We wouldn't have all this pushback if we weren't causing this change. And you are part of it. So be proud, stand strong, and know that, with every share, with every comments, with every conversation, making new friends, connecting with others, you are making a change. So be proud. So, as always, aloha, and thank you for joining us.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And we will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we drop the comics news every day. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.